SQUID, and each will be on opposing sides of offense or defense. Ji-hoon chooses offense. With the VIPs watching from above with interest, the frontman adds extra narration, confirming that this game is the most physical and violent from childhood days. There are a few rules with this one. Ji-hoon has a pocket knife which he intends to use to try and win the game. Punches are traded while Sang-woo manages to grab the knife and stab Ji-hoon several times. Ji-hoon bites a chunk out of his opponent's leg. Using the knife stuck through his hand, Ji-hoon pulls it out and looks set to stab Sang-woo, but decides not to. He lets the man live while Ji-hoon walks to the finish line, but he can't cross it. Instead, he decides to enact Rule 3 and ends the games right here. In doing so, this means he gives up the prize money completely but saves his friend. Sang-woo stabs himself in the neck, telling Ji-hoon to help his mother before passing away. As he does, Ji-hoon wins by default. With the games over and Ji-hoon blindfolded, he sits in a limo with the frontman. In-ho mentions how these games are similar to betting on horses before dragging Ji-hoon and pushing him out into the street. Inside his mouth, though, is a credit card. Ji-hoon uses the card inside the terminal and checks out his balance. His PIN number 0456, he withdraws 10,000 won, leaving him with approximately $48 million. Ji-hoon swings by the old neighborhood and finds Sang-woo's mother. Ji-hoon remains silent, unable to tell her the heartbreaking news about her son's fate. Ji-hoon heads home, where he finds his mom lying on the floor. Despite doing all he can for her, his mom has passed away. He holds her as best as he can, struggling to hold back tears as he mourns her passing. 1 year later, Ji-hoon is a changed man and is called to see the bank manager. He wants to try and help him grow his financial assets, but Ji-hoon is having none of it. He hasn't touched the money since winning it and instead asks the bank manager for 10,000 won. Heading down to the docks, he uses that to buy a rose. Attached to that rose is a black envelope with a red ribbon. Inside is a business card with the words December 24th, 11:30 p.m., Sky Building, 77th floor, written on, and the sender is your Gumbo. Ji-hoon arrives at the apartment right on time, where he finds In-nam alive. Ji-hoon is completely shocked, unable to accept that this man is alive. However, the shocking truth is that In-nam is actually a part of all this and helped to set up the games. As he says himself, he makes a living out of lending money to others. He called Ji-hoon over because he's noticed that he hasn't spent any of the money he's won. In-nam quizzes him, believing Ji-hoon is suffering badly from guilt over all those who've lost their lives in the games. Now, based on what Ji-hoon found in the archives and In-nam's little monologue that follows, these games started back in the early 90s. Since then, there's always been one winner, and it seems like that winner could go on become a figurehead staff member like frontman. In-nam and a bunch of rich buddies got together and decided to come up with a more productive way of spending their money. With more cash than they knew what to do with, they all set up this series of games. The VIPs are actually those in charge of the games, betting money on people like horses. They created this game as a way of having fun. Ji-hoon is pretty disgusted, but In-nam is quick to remind him that 93% of people signed their contracts again, knowing exactly what lay in store for them from these games. In-nam has a tumor, he's dying and doesn't have long to live. He decided to join in and play the games this time. He wanted to feel a sense of joy in engaging with others rather than just spectating and dying. Joining and playing with Ji-hoon during the fourth challenge allowed him to remember all the moments he'd forgotten in his life from such a long time ago. This is why Ji-hoon was able to progress forward and why In-nam sacrificed himself, although this gunshot was a decoy. As the clock chimes midnight, In-nam passes away. With Ji-hoon finally learning the truth about the games and their origin, he undergoes a drastic transformation. He gets his hair cut and dyed red, heading off to help Chol, Sai-byok's brother. He brings him to Sang-woo's mom and asks her to look after him. As he walks away, Sang-woo's mom opens the suitcase to find it completely packed full of cash with an accompanying note, "It's the money I owe Sang-woo." En route to the airport after ringing Gayong, Ji-hoon notices that same businessman from before, playing with a poor guy outside, exchanging slaps and smacking envelopes. Ji-hoon charges across the platform, but misses the man as he boards the train and escapes. For the victim, however, Ji-hoon snatches his business card away and demands he not compete. At the airport, an enraged Ji-hoon rings the frontman and promises that he'll pay for what's happened to him and the others. Instead of boarding the plane, he turns and walks away, determined to fight back and put an end to this once and for all.